Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
We're going to walk you through installing a Koha testing Docker on your machine. So Kyle and Nick are going to walk us through this, and just a intro, we've already added Koha to our local machine because that does take quite some time to download, so we wanted to save some steps here. It will be in the blog post that's attached to this video of how to add that, but from this point we're going to start with we have Git installed on our local machine.
Mm-hmm. And you can actually, on a Mac, you can just type Git and that will show you if it is installed or not. And I believe that if you type that, it might actually, will it install it, Kyle? Or what do you have to do?
If you try to use it and it is not installed, OS 10 will ask you to, it'll basically say, I need to download and install Xcode. And you say that's okay, and it does it for you.
Excellent.
And just a few things, we're using a Mac machine. We will tell you everything you need in the blog post to get you started. And okay, let's take it from there.
Yeah. And just to go back to clarify, the first step that we started with was cloning the Koha repository from Git. When you're using Koha testing Docker, it's easiest if you have the code already saved on your computer. You can point it to your existing repo. That way, testing Docker doesn't need to download the Koha code every time it runs, which takes a long time. I think it's like 8 gigs or more at this point. It's the whole history of Koha. It's big.
It is in the gigabytes.
Yeah.
I can vouch for that.
And I'm going to send you a link, JZ, if you want to just pull that up. That is the rough directions that we are following here.
Okay.
But Kyle and I are here to help JZ in case any of it doesn't translate to normal English and or goes pear-shaped.
I'll just pull this over here so everyone can see this real quick.
And if you just click that Koha testing Docker right next to master at the top, right there, that'll take you to the main part of the repo. So that's the actual correct link.
Okay. Again, we'll document all this in the blog post too to follow along so everyone has the links.
And then if you scroll down, you'll see the README, which should walk you through installing this.
Okay, fabulous.
There we go.
Okay. So we've already done this part, JZ, where you've made the directory. So you can just pick up at that CD into Git.
This one right here?
The top
Go up
line.
2 lines, and that's actually one more line.
This one.
Up 1 line.
Oh, up 1 line, this one.
Up 1 more.
This one.
Yeah, but you only need the second half of that. We've already made the directory. That is where you put your Koha clone.
All right.
Like when you have someone behind you, click that. No, up there. The
Listen.
green button.
You're walking someone through who's not 100% comfortable in Terminal. So this is perfect for our viewers out there who are like me, not comfortable in this, and I'm working with our experts in the field, and hopefully this video helps you.
So if you go back over, the next thing you're going to do is clone the repository for Koha testing Docker.
That whole second one.
Yes. Yep. The git clone https
Cloning.
Koha testing docker.git. All right, so if you type ls again, you'll see you now have 2 directories. You have Koha, which has the code for Koha itself, and then you also have a git clone for Koha testing Docker. So now you will want to cd into that one.
Perfect.
All right, so now comes the part where something always goes wrong, which is we need to set up those environment variables.
Yeah.
Okay.
JZ, can you type PWD?
PWD.
Yeah, it stands for present working directory. Hit enter and it'll tell you where you are.
Okay.
So what we need to do is set up an environment variable on your computer that points to your Koha code. So
Okay.
if you highlight that line above up to including the word Koha, but stop at the dash, that's what your Koha clone is named. So go ahead and copy that to your clipboard.
Okay, got it.
And now let's try, I can't remember which one worked best for us last. I have all of my stuff in a .profile file.
Okay. Okay.
So hit Control Z, or Control C. No, Control Z doesn't, I don't remember.
What do you want me to copy it? Or
Basically, I want you to go ahead and delete that line.
got it.
Let's just say that. Delete
Okay.
that. It's still in your clipboard.
Still my clipboard, yeah.
And you have VI installed, right? Or do
Yeah.
you? Okay, so try VI space ~.profile. ~.profile.
And so what we're trying to do right here basically is tell your computer that every time it starts up, it should recognize where your Koha clone is. We're going to give it some variables that say Koha lives here, and there's one other variable we need to set up.
All right, so hit enter. It does exist, so that is a good sign. I think that means that it's going to work. So what we need to do is go down to the bottom of that file, just arrow down there, and then you can hit I for insert. I don't know how
Got
how
it. Got
much
it.
of VI you know.
Yeah.
And
Walk me through it, Kyle.
type the word export,
Okay.
and then a space, and then all in capitals, sync_repo equals, and then double quote. Now paste in that path that should be in your clipboard still.
Got it.
And the second double quote.
Okay.
There's a second line we need to add that we can just pretend is magic.
Okay.
So hit enter to go to the next line,
Got it.
and it is export space, all in caps, local_user_ID.
And both of these are in the README file, so you could just copy and paste from there.
Oh yeah, I see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Equals
Equals, yes.
$,
left paren, ID-U, right paren. With this, yes, with the space in there.
Look at that. What did the blue? Why did it turn blue?
That's VI's syntax highlighting. It says, hey, you're on a parenthesis. Here's the other parenthesis that matches it.
Okay, great.
So hit escape to get out of insert mode. And then if you type a colon and a W and a Q, that tells VI to write the file, to save it, and then quit.
Okay.
For anyone out there, you can also edit this file using any editor you have on your computer. You can use Nano if you want, which might make your life easier. Kyle will record a 7-hour-long video about his Vim preferences in the future.
Okay. If anyone's watching my face, I'm panicked. So what do I have to hit again?
Escape.
Escape. Okay.
Colon
Cool.
tells Vim that you're going to enter a command, and then WQ, which is
Okay.
write the file and quit.
The beauty of Vim is that it forces you to learn it really well just so that you can figure out how to quit it.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Do we source that file?
That I think would be an excellent thing to do. So source is a command that just says like, run this in my shell. And it makes the stuff in it do the things that it's supposed to do without having to open a new terminal window, which is what I always do. So if you type the word source and then just put that ~/.profile in there, so source space ~/.profile, and hit enter. And now we can test to see if this worked. Type the word echo.
ECHO.
Yep. And then a space, and then a $, sync repo, just like we've been typing it, all in caps with the underscore.
Do I need a space after the $?
No. No.
Okay. Sync underscore repo.
Yes.
Okay, look at it.
Yay.
Yay. Okay.
All right. So we are still in the Koha testing Docker directory. So the next thing we need to do is make a copy of the defaults.env file and rename it .env right here. If you, JZ, if you go to the next section called setup, the command's right there.
Got it. I'm going to copy and paste that.
Yes. So this file lives in a directory in Koha testing Docker called env.
I copied the
Oh, there was
$sign
a-
by accident. Yep.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It happens to the best of us.
Okay.
And so now, why don't you go ahead and open up that .env file so we can just see what's in it.
So VI.
Yeah,
vi.env. Again, if you want to use Notepad and open up that file, you are perfectly okay to do that. Kyle won't let you, but it's okay.
Okay.
So you can see in here, and I don't believe we need to change any of this right now, but for actual usage, you will want to. You can see there's a section with your GetBZ username and password and your email, basically your login info for the Koha community Bugzilla. So if you don't have an account on the Koha community Bugzilla, you'll probably want to go ahead and create one because you'll need it to be able to upload the signed patches after you've done your testing.
Yeah.
So this is where I want to.
Go ahead.
This is where I want to come in and put in my.
Yeah, your Bugzilla credentials are the first 2 lines, and the second 2 lines are just what the name and email you want to use to sign off on bugs. Whatever you put in there, that's what will be accredited to Koha when you sign off on something, or if you write a patch.
So GetBZ user and get user email are almost always the same thing.
Yeah, but you don't need to do that right now.
Okay.
Because I don't think we want to share your GetBZ password with everyone out in the community. No, I didn't think so. But you will need that set up in order to even apply bugs, I think. Right, Kyle?
It shouldn't require it to apply bugs.
Only for push.
It doesn't need authentication for that. We'll find out soon enough.
There you go.
But as far as I remember, we don't need it.
Yeah. The other thing to note here, the Koha pass and the Koha user, those are just going to be the default. They're way down under OPAC. Yep. Those 2 lines, you don't need to change them. They just set what is the default password and username for your instance. I have mine set, my user is set to Nick because it just makes me happier to type my own name. I'm very vain like that. But if you just leave it as Koha, just know that that's how you'll sign into your Koha.
Okay.
So if you want to get out this one, you can just hit :Q since
Escape.
we didn't make any changes and hit enter.
Look at that. Okay. Now let me ask a question. In our setup instructions, it says some variables need to be set to run this. Do we have to do another one? Export sync repo?
That's a copy of the lines above.
Okay.
It looks like we just repeat ourselves there.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
So the next part that we're going to do, though, is we're actually going to add another variable to your profile.
Okay.
So if you look, the next thing you see is the section called aliases.
Mhm.
That describes all of the aliases that Koha Testing Docker is set up to give you by default if you take a few steps. So we're going to take those steps. So if you can do, again, that VI space tilde, and you can just hit up, I think.
Yes.
That'll cycle through the commands that you've done, and you can get back to that.
This one, profile?
Yep.
Yep, that's the one.
Perfect. Enter.
And now if you look at the README again, you should see a line that says export Koha Testing Docker home. Do you see that in the directions? It's right under the box of aliases.
Got it.
So just go ahead and copy that line and
Okay.
paste it underneath the last file. So you'll have to copy it, come into the file, tab all the way down, or arrow all the way down.
And then
Got
hit
it.
the
Well, yes, you could just hit O.
O button. It will jump you down to the next line. And
Okay, got it.
insert
Oh,
mode.
look at that. Okay, got it.
And then escape, :WQ.
Well, but we need to fix that because that path is wrong.
You're right.
Or not right.
Okay.
So if you can delete all the way back to that equals sign. Oh,
you want me to remove clone starting here? You got it?
You want to delete all of that stuff.
Okay, got it.
And yours is slash users with a capital U, Jessica 0, slash git, slash Koha -testing -docker. Right? That looks right?
Looks good to me.
All right, so hit escape and then :WQ. And then arrow up and find that line that starts with source and just run that again. Okay. So now, in theory, wait, did we include the aliases? Does that include the aliases?
We have another line here. Do we have to run that?
Oh, we did.
We have to source the line now, yeah.
Okay.
Well, no.
In the profile.
Yes. Oh, I understand now. So hit up vi.profile again because we didn't read far enough. There
Also do a tab, can I? And that will complete it if I start the...
Yes.
Yep.
Look at that, I remembered something. Okay.
Here's one. If you hit Shift G, you will jump to the bottom line of a file.
Did it.
And then hit O, and you will start a new line.
All right, Shift G.
And now,
okay.
This next line, you can just copy and paste from the directions.
The source.
Starts with source.
Got it.
And then escape, right, and quit again.
Escape. WQ?
Yeah, :WQ.
Got it. Okay, did it.
And do the source again.
This one, source tilde up?
Yep.
Which is just load the changes that I made to the profile.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, in theory, if you just type KU and hit enter, it's going to start it. And it didn't.
I think what we found last time, Kyle, was that there was a problem with all the new lines in that file.
Yes, there is.
Okay.
So, JZ, can you type LS?
Of course.
All right, I'm trying to remember. So it's under file. So if you can type VI files /bash_aliases, and you can probably use your tab autocomplete now, and hit enter. And this is something I really should submit a pull request for to fix this. See how it has those like backslashes and they're on different lines? It makes it nice and readable, but it breaks it on Macs. It works great on Linux. It doesn't work on Macs.
Okay.
So if you hit I to go into insert mode, just pop down to that one line to the D on Docker Compose. So go down one line and then get over to your D and start. I don't think you're in insert mode yet. So hit I.
Got it.
And now just keep deleting till you pop up to the next line and get rid of that backslash. So keep going, one more. There you go. Now do that for the next 4 lines. We're going to put it all on one line, getting rid of those. Oh, no, yeah, up to that, go up to.
Oh, I see. Only for this one. Only for this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
tell me.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, if you want to look in the chat, I did this part for you to give you what the alias KU should look like at the end. It should just be a single line like that.
All right.
So you could just delete that whole section. And
So Do you have that in clipboard, Jay-Z? Just copy what he sent you in the chat, and then I will show you how to delete those lines.
Okay. Did you
And
put it in? I got it. Got it.
Yeah, I will work on doing the rest of them.
Okay.
Type, hit escape to get out of insert mode, and then type G to jump to the top of the file.
Okay.
And now hit Shift V.
Shift V. Got it.
Yes. And hit down twice. So now you're in like visual mode, highlighting. And so you've highlighted 3 lines. If you hit D, it will delete those.
Wow.
So
Okay.
now if you type a capital O, so hit Shift O.
Got it.
Little O started line down. Big O starts you a line up. And now you can just paste that line in.
Fabulous. You both are excellent teachers.
Thank you. And I think for these purposes, that one is probably enough.
Okay.
And Kyle or I promise that we will submit a patch that gets rid of those new lines.
Okay.
I heard Nick volunteer there. I don't know about anybody else.
Yeah, probably.
So go ahead and hit escape, and then :WQ to save it and quit.
Okay. Okay.
And now, I'm not sure if we need to do anything with source. Try typing KU again and see what happens. I think we might need to. All right, still didn't do anything. Go up in your history till you find that source line again and try running that again. And now try KU.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, yes.
There we go.
Oh, you know what? Install Docker. That should have been step 0.
Shoot.
That's all right.
Okay.
How do we install Docker, Kyle?
Well, so the easiest, I mean, you can go to docker.com and download it.
I think I might have it on here, maybe not open.
That would be great.
Yeah, I have it. Look, there we go.
Basically, it's Docker Desktop for Mac is the thing that you are downloading.
And we can put a link to that in the blog post.
Yes.
Or the comments somewhere.
It's doing an update, so it is opening though, so it's going.
Mm-hmm.
So just to check in, Jay-Z, how nervous are you so far?
Oh, my stomach is in knots. But this is what we want, because if somebody like me doesn't know how to do it, it's helping somebody out there.
Jay-Z, I also sent you a DM in Slack.
Okay.
With the link directly to Docker for Mac.
Perfect. I'll open that up.
So that you can put that in the blog notes.
Okay. And while we're waiting, I'll share that. Okay, so now that your Docker is ready to go, we are going to try running that KU again. Keep our fingers crossed. Okay, creating.
All right.
Yes.
So this is the first time you're running it. So it's downloading all of the Docker images that it needs, like a MySQL image, an Elasticsearch image, and the Koha testing Docker image itself. So this will take a few minutes. On subsequent runs, if your images are up to date, it won't download them again. Sometimes there will be a new version of Koha testing Docker, and so it will download that. We have our MySQL set to a specific version, so once you have that, it almost never needs to be updated.
Do these aliases auto do a compose pull for new versions, Kyle?
I don't see that in here. In mine, see, I use a custom alias for KU, which
Yeah.
this one is based off of.
Yeah.
But mine, I actually do like the Docker Compose pull before I run the Docker Compose up.
Yeah. That would be a good thing for you to submit as
Yeah,
a patch.
it would be.
I put in my merge request to get the aliases fixed.
Oh, you already did that? Dang it.
Yeah.
You beat me to it. Well, I should wait until yours is merged.
And then,
at
yeah.
the pull. Otherwise, we will get merge
Conflicts.
errors. Yes.
But all of that discussion is not really relevant to the people who are just starting
Nope.
out. As long as your container is working, great. If it breaks, then come talk to us about that. Docker-compose space pull, or is it Docker space compose pull?
I believe it's docker-compose pull, and you have to run that inside the Koha testing Docker directory.
So that's just the bonus content there if you have problems in the future. But generally, this will keep working for quite a long time before you ever need to do that.
Let me ask a maybe dumb question for me, but so there's different Dockers for different types of operating systems that you're running. So like Mac has a different Docker than whatever you're running on, Nick?
You can think of Docker containers as virtual machines.
Okay.
But they're not, but you pretend they are.
Okay.
And so basically it's downloading and running a MySQL Docker virtual machine, but it's not, but you can pretend it is.
Okay. I'll pretend.
It's on Linux. So Docker really runs on Linux.
Okay.
And it uses basically it runs all this stuff directly on the operating system, but in what are called jails. So it's like this is running in its own world and it can't get out of that world. It can't see the files on your computer. On Macs, it actually runs a Linux virtual machine under the hood and then runs the Docker containers on that Linux virtual machine. Which is why Docker on Mac doesn't run quite as nicely or speedily as it does on Linux, where it's native. Same thing on Windows. It uses, Linux on Windows is a whole animal that we could talk hours about. But Windows can run virtualized Linux inside Windows, and it may or may not be what you're using Docker for, because there are Linux containers for Docker for Windows and Windows containers for Docker for Windows.
Okay.
But I've said too much already.
That's okay. We're almost done downloading.
The important thing to note is that you can use Koha testing Docker on Windows or Mac or Linux. Any of those three will work for you. Will it work on all Linux varieties? I can't say. If you're running CentOS, as there are people out there doing, I've not tried to use Koha testing Docker there.
I would say it's probably more compatible across Linux distributions than Koha itself is.
Yeah.
Because it's all Dockerized. That's the beauty of Docker. Inside of these Docker containers, it's Debian, at least for the Koha testing Docker.
Yeah.
And we don't have to worry about what the OS for the MySQL image is or for the Elasticsearch. Like, that's the beauty of it. We just look at the documentation and say, this is what needs to be done before you launch it, and then you run it.
In terms of resources, Kyle.
Yes.
What would you say someone needs to be able to run Koha testing Docker on their machine? Like, can I pick up, an old Core 2 Duo and run this with 4 gigs of RAM?
I think running this on a computer with 4 gigs of RAM would be really pushing it to its limit. I would definitely recommend 8 gigs as a minimum.
Yeah.
For Docker for Mac, you can tell it how much memory you want to allow it. For example, on my computer, I have it set to use 10 gigs of RAM. You can get away with less. It will be slower if you give it less. You can also set the number of CPUs that it can use. So if you want to make sure that it's not stealing all of your CPU time, you can throttle that back and say you're only allowed to use half of my CPUs. You can also set the swap space, which I have at the default, which is 1 gigabyte.
And none of this matters if you don't want to get into that. I just wanted to talk a little bit about at least what kind of the basic requirements are. I imagine part of it is that Elasticsearch requires a lot of memory, and that's probably going to be the most demanding thing.
Yes.
But the nice thing is to know that this will give you an instance that can be running Elasticsearch by default. When you first start this up, Elasticsearch is running but not active. So we can cover that real quickly too once this is done.
Okay. Are we close to being able to open up?
Let's see.
Let's see where we are in our instructions.
We're on to Selenium.
So we're still just getting the containers that will run Koha. Once they're all fetched, then it should actually start them up, at which point it will install Koha and give you a kind of rough sample database with some books and some libraries and things like that. So we've still got another minute or two. Again, this part will be much quicker on subsequent runs because you'll already have the machines. Right now, you're actually having to go download the machines and then set them up.
Well, this is good. People can watch and listen to us as they're doing the same on their machine.
Yeah. It's a good time to browse the internet, check your email. And it'll probably be a little faster for the people at home who aren't also running a Zoom session that they're recording at the same time.
Right. That's right.
Oh, by the way, things have continued. While Kyle and I were blathering on, Docker has completed its download, and it is actually now installing Koha. If you watch this screen here, there will be some like human readable stuff that sort of tells you what's going on with the Koha installation. What you're looking for is that favorite part. I appear to be done. After which, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you see Koha_1 exited, that means something went wrong.
Yes.
Especially if there is an error in the Koha code, when you try to launch Koha testing Docker, it will not go up. Once you have it up and running, and if you apply a patch that happens to have an error, that's okay. You'll be able to get in and restart things and do stuff. But from here, it's probably best to be on master, to have the latest version of the master branch of Koha checked out before you start it, and then you can apply the patches using the Get Easy tool once you're in.
And I think we're probably going to have to do another video or two about the kind of care and feeding of your Koha testing Docker in the future. But always feel free to ask us questions. There is a good amount of information out there on the Koha wiki. There is a walkthrough on submitting your first patch. So there's lots of things to get you started. So things have started working, Jay-Z.
Oh, great.
Koha is spinning up.
Great. Okay, sorry about that.
It just starts to load itself up. Once it has everything ready, it starts launching the containers and kind of running the configuration of them. The Koha_1, as Kyle pointed out, that's the actual Koha container itself. And that's where you might see at least some somewhat understandable steps. Like if you look, there's a running pro5 lib, set up SIP to get SIP running. Before that, it does a do all you can do, which resets everything on Koha. And right now it is re-indexing everything into Zebra, which means that we are almost ready to go into our Koha in our browser.
Okay.
For Koha testing Docker, there's not really an indication. It is just sort of getting used to knowing what the steps are. And the Zebra reconfiguration is usually the last step. If it says that it exited though with any sort of status, that means that it failed.
Okay.
So if you don't see that, you're still in good shape. So I guess that's true. Yeah, you'll know that you won't know when it's done, but you'll know if it broke. All right. I think at this point, Jay-Z,
Yeah.
you could probably go ahead and go to your browser.
Okay.
And then just you can open a new tab if you want to, or do
Okay.
it in the same tab. You're just going to put in the URL bar at the top, localhost, no spaces, :8081. This will be the staff interface for Koha.
I suppose now is time to ask, how much RAM does your computer have?
I did shut everything else down.
Oh,
Wait,
no.
is this done yet? Look, maybe it's not done yet. Oh.
No, that's just Elasticsearch talking, but go back to your window. It came up.
Oh, great. Okay.
So now if you type Koha and Koha,
we also forgot, because there is a little blurb at the bottom of the guide, you need to increase the amount of RAM that Elasticsearch can have.
yes.
Luckily, it's very easy to do.
No, what do I need to do?
If you scroll down to the bottom of the guide we've been using,
Yep.
there's a set of commands that you run on Linux or Mac,
Okay.
all the way at the bottom, and that will fix it so Elastic works.
This right here?
Without the $sign, of course. Yeah, it's just 2 commands.
Okay.
I would suggest that. Oh, do you just have to run that once, or do you have to run that?
Just once.
Okay. We should do another video to talk about Elasticsearch and getting that actually set up and running on your Koha testing Docker.
Okay.
I think that's a good idea.
But these 2 commands will get you started if you're feeling brave and want to do it on your own.
Yeah. If you remember how I mentioned that Docker runs in a virtual machine on Macs, that screen command actually gets you into the virtual machine that you normally have no idea is running. And then the second command increases the amount of memory that it can access from your computer. Fun.
But there you go. It took a little while, but Jay-Z, you have a fully running instance of Koha on your local machine. It's running the Koha master version. And you can search the catalog. You should get some results. There's about 436 books in the sample database.
Great. And just a quick question, when there is an upgrade to Koha, does it always run master, or how does that work? How can you?
So that's a little bit of Git management.
Okay.
In the prerequisites where we have you download the Koha clone,
Yeah.
What you would do is just go back to that directory.
Okay.
In your case, I think it was users, Jessica Zero,
Yep.
Koha, or
Yeah.
Git Koha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you would just do git pull.
Mm-hmm.
That would go ahead and fetch all the new things that have been pushed to Koha and get you the latest version.
Okay.
Another good phrase is, I usually, as overkill, do git pull and then git reset --hard origin/master. That'll ensure that any changes that you've made, any things that you've tested, are blown away, and set you back to the current Koha tip. Just the head of master with everything that's been pushed. And as Kyle mentioned before, it's a good idea to do that before you launch your Docker.
Okay.
Because if any of your patches break Koha or have errors, they can prevent Koha testing Docker from launching.
Okay.
Once you have it launched, errors are okay. We can handle them. You'll get notices in the logs. Koha will still not work, but at least the Docker will be up.
Okay. Great. So we will have full instructions, things where we may have hit roadblocks. We'll have that in the blog blog post everything you need to do first before you install this. And as we said throughout the whole time, if you get stuck, just ping us in IRC, in Slack. You know how to get in touch with us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, JZ.
Thank you, both excellent teachers.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, Nick.